Hi, it's National Executive Director Stacey Itzel, and I'm going to be talking to you about follow-up when it comes to recruiting. This is the part that nobody likes, right? But I can't talk to you first about follow-up unless I talk to you about tracking. Oh my gosh, one of the best skills for you to learn and develop in your business is tracking. When you're tracking your contacts for making bookings, when you're tracking certain activities within your online parties, and tracking recruiting. Now, when I talk about tracking recruiting, I want to talk to you specifically about tracking recruiting conversations. So all of the tracking that you're doing in your party, maybe identifying your rock star guests, maybe making sure that you've asked your host 5 times, that's one tracking, and making sure that you're having all of those conversations or questions started. But when those conversations start, I'm going to challenge you to move it to a different tracker. And it's can be a piece of paper. You can just type this out in a Word document. You could do it on a note on your phone. It doesn't matter. But every single month, I need you and you need you to have at least 20 recruiting conversations. Very different than an ask. A conversation is 2 people talking back and forth. Regardless of how it ends, that's not what we're necessarily going into this tracking. Obviously, we want the recruit, but we're going to track to make sure we have 20 conversations. And once you've done that, then you've got your lead list for follow-up, okay? The other important reason that the other reason why it's important to track is because you're going to be doing lots of initial asks. And you may not get a response from every one of those asks. So you need to know who to go back to follow up with. And sometimes you might have 4, 5, 6, 10 different conversations going within the week about the business opportunity. You have a great conversation going, and then they stop responding for some reason, or maybe something happens and they respond and you don't see the message back. If you don't have it written down somewhere that you have a conversation going with someone, you won't follow up. And when you have a hot lead, somebody who's actually talking back and forth with you, follow up with that person is critical every 24 hours. You don't want to wait 2 or 3 days. You want to, if the conversation stops, you want to talk to them, reach back out to them the next day. So that's why you need a tracker. So 24 follow up with anybody who is chatting with you. Now, that conversation may start to fizzle out, and so you need to know, when can I check back with you again? So one of the best ways that I like to know when I can check back with someone is just ask them. When it gets to that point where they say, you know what, I just don't think this is the right time for me, I like to say, how often would you like me to check back with you? Would you like me to let you know the monthly specials when they come out? Would you like to be a part of my thinking about it group? That can be a Facebook group or a Facebook message that you put people in, that you can update them on a regular basis about what's new and hot with Pampered Chef. Or it could be just a list that you keep going, that when you're having an opportunity event, you reach out to those people to let them know. But get that permission to follow up with them and find out the timeline from them. And I always like to suggest the monthly. Can I check in with you monthly? And then make sure you take those conversations that you've been tracking and put them into your Google Calendar, put them into your paper notebook, your paper calendar, or some kind of notebook that has a month to month to month, so you know exactly who to follow up with. The goal is you have a nice long lead list, so that when something fun and exciting happens with Pampered Chef, maybe there's a kit change, maybe there's a recruiting special, maybe there is just new products coming out, anything close to the holidays, whatever is happening, you know exactly who you're going to reach out to start those conversations with all over again. So make sure you're tracking, make sure you're following up with your conversations within 24 hours, and then make sure you're getting permission to follow up if it's a not right now, and finding out the time lead from your recruit lead.